All right, guys, here we go. Starting off Monday, a day in the shop. Got a real good vibe this morning. Let's get this door open. Got a real good vibe this morning. Feeling pretty good. Got gas, bought some beer, got some coffee, got the fridge all loaded up. Everyone's on their way in. I don't think Paul's coming back till Wednesday. So if you guys saw my video on the truck, but I did some headlights on it, and I did a patch panel too. I'll show you guys that real quick before we start this week. Did that patch panel up there. That's what I took out of there. Anyway, ready to go, man. We are ready to go. Oh, these are the old headlights. That's what was in there. That hodgepodge of mismatched conglomeration stuff. All right, guys, let's do it, man. Stop horsing around, will you? All right, we got a Ford Escape. Customer says they hear a vibration noise that doesn't sound right. They wanted us to take a look at it. So that's what we're gonna do. Take a look at this. Let me see how many miles it's got on. 170,660. 2014 Ford Escape. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Get this on the alignment rack and see if that's coming from the injector pump or from the bottom of the motor. Does not sound good. Sounds like it's on the lower end. Move this thing over so I can listen underneath a little better. It kind of goes away when you bring it off idle a little bit. Maybe something's just hitting somewhere. Very strange. Maybe it has a motor mount settled and the exhaust is hitting on something. We'll see. Speculation at this point. We'll get her in the air and take a look. It's weird. This car smells like alcohol. I'm used to smelling weed. Hey, I guess people like to drink too, you know? Hey man, life is short, have some fun. Let's get this thing in the air. And I want to say that sounds like it's coming from in here like a flywheel or torque converter. Very strange. Could be something like a balance shaft, something internal, but it definitely sounds like it's in this area right here. Let's see what they want to do as far as accessing it to find out exactly what's causing the noise. It's not a belt-driven item, I can tell that. It's a deeper sound. Maybe like a loose torque converter. Real quick, go on Identifix and see if anyone's having problems with a noise like this. But the thing is, you can see the transmission's been done, so I suspect it has something to do with that. 2009 Silverado, made of real hurricanes and tornadoes. Got an oil leak. Let's see what kind of mileage we got. Ooh, it stinks of BO in here. Every car has its own unique fragrance. Let's get the mileage up. Service airbag, service washer fluid, oil change overdue. 191,188 miles. Airbag light, TPMS. All right, let's get this thing in the air and find out what's leaking Earl. The tire wear means underinflated. He's towing something a little too heavy for the truck, or the alignment's just way out of whack. He does have drilled and slotted high-performance rotors. But he's not here for any of that. That's just stuff I observe while I'm looking around. Bolts upside down. That's all right. Man, this thing is definitely leaking some oil. Left a trail all the way down past the rear end, and the rear tires are wet with oil, the frame. Goodness gracious. Well, sadly, I think it's going to be easier to tell them what's not leaking. The boot's off the rack, and the rack's leaking. Got a new axle and got some cool spacers on the shocks and stuff, make it sit right. Man, this thing is just pouring oil out of every orifice. Oil cooler gasket, of course, they always leak. Got a little bit of oil inside the bell housing, but something coming from the top like an oil pressure sender. It looks like, because it's dripping down the top of the transmission. So either the lifter valley cover or the oil pressure sender is leaking from the top, and it's coming down all over the place. Look at that mess. Goodness gracious. It's almost like it's got a broken oil pressure sender. There's some parts up here. Let's see what they are. Oh, custom wiring adapter thing. It's a breather. Some kind of breather cover. I'm gonna look from up top. Brand new oil running all down the back of the motor from the very top. If you guys can see that, but the sending unit is definitely leaking. And you gotta take the intake off to do it. So I'm gonna kill 2 stones and 3 birds, or however that goes. The intake's got to come off to do the oil center unit. Makes it a lot easier to just take the intake off. So, 2015 Chrysler 200 money maker. This is a replacement for the Sebring, which made lots of mechanics money. This is 2015 with 102,000 miles on it. It's in for an AC check. Customer states the AC stopped blowing out of the dash yesterday, and it's been working ever since. So he's nervous that it might have overheated. I don't understand how we got to that, but I do notice it's very vibey. If you hear that? Motor mounts. You hear that? Lots of vibrations and rattles and clicking and clacking. Sometimes I see on these blower motors go bad. Obviously blower resistors go bad, or control boxes, whatever you want to call them. And I've also seen where things fall into the blower motor from the glove box. But I don't know if the fresh air vent on this design car has that problem if it's too close to the glove box. People shove napkins and receipts in their glove box and never take them out, and they get sucked into the fresh air vent sometimes, and they'll cause the blower motor to jam and things like that. What I'm going to do is just let it run a little while, probably take it for a little drive, see if I can get it to show itself. We'll do the kid-friendly version of that, and then we'll go from there. I'm suspecting it's going to have a bad blower motor problem or a connection. I can pull down the kick panel too and take a look at the blower motor connector, see if it shows any signs of heat or damage. And then we'll see what happens. It's got to do something for me too, but I'll take a look at the connector real quick while we're waiting. Oh, FYI too, when I got in, the stereo was like this. I couldn't for the life of me figure out where the volume was, but because the knobs are all wore off. I mean, it is 6 or 7 years old, so. When you're dropping your car off at your mechanic, try to vent the weed and turn your radio down to a reasonable volume, because not everybody wants to blow their eardrums out. It's probably even a little late for me now, but just something to think about. Other people, you know, sometimes. You have to do it all the time. Just once in a while would be nice. Well, that makes me kind of sad. I can't see the blower motor that easy. I don't know where they put it, but it's not there. So I'm gonna wait now, see if it'll do something. I got the fan up a little bit higher. We'll see if it'll stop working or something. I'm gonna have to drive it. Well, the labor guide in this Chrysler Sebring says 0.6 for the blower motor, so I figure it can't be too hard. And I saw something about a console closeout panel. There's a blower motor up there. So that's pretty good. If you're a contortionist, quick half-hour labor. All right, man. We got approval on the oil leak repair in the Silverado. I might get it on the lift. I like to take the front tires off just to make it easier for my stubby little butt to get in there and do the intake work. Take the tires and everything off, you lower this down about 6 inches or so, right? So let's do that. I'm such a knucklehead. I keep complaining about the strength of my mid-torque, and then I realized at some point I had it down on 2. So this wheel that was super tight and the lug nuts were a little rusted and I had a hard time getting them off. And for some reason it popped into my head, maybe I don't have it on full strength. Took them right off. The driver's side wheel was loose and this wheel was rusted on, so you know. Already popped that out. What else we gotta do here? Oh, gotta disconnect this stuff. Gotta disconnect that. Come on. Alright, you probably don't have to take the alternator off, but just pop the belt off in 2 bolts, it's out of your way, right? So I figured I might as well get it out of the way. Injector connectors, a couple vacuum lines, pull that harness off the top, and then it's a bunch of 8mm bolts. Not too bad, really. A couple guys were asking about my quarter drive deeps, what I used, and these are gray pneumatic. I got the full set. I only keep the most common ones in my cart. All the odd sizes are over in my big box. Ah. It's a little warm. You have to get a rag. I get a fuel line too. Can't forget that. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
That whole place to yourself?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Indiana truck.
Gear wrench trucks is here. Gotta go. All right, we're gonna take a break on the Silverado, do a quick alignment on this thing. All right, that's the way we like our alignments. Well, not really, because now I can't charge them for an alignment. It's only an alignment check, which is free, but nothing wrong with the alignment. The steering wheel is a little off, so once I corrected that, perfect. This customer's waiting. It's only got 16,000 miles on it. It's like a 2020 Kia Stinger, I think they call it. But it's all done. On to the next one. I always try to get a rag over these fuel lines just as you're getting it off of there, so you don't get sprayed in the face. Oh, you guys fell. I'm sorry about that. I got you kind of precariously placed among some seriously sketchy stuff. Now this rag is soaked in gas. I'm gonna blow it off with shop air now, get all the dirt and debris out of the way. The last thing's the manifold bolts, and then I think there's I think the brake booster hose is back there still connected. As I pull the manifold out, I'll get that. That wasn't really a gravity check. It didn't get anywhere near close to the ground. Magnetic flashlight. Let go. All right, there's 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 of these down each side. I got the 3/8 ratchet just for kicks, in case they were a little tight. My quarter drive would be straining a bit. But they're usually about, I want to say these are like 12 or 18 foot-pounds. Might be less. I'm gonna have to look it up. That should be the last bolt. I had to switch to a universal just because the back ones, it's either gonna, I needed an extension that was 3/4 of an inch shorter or universal. So I I think the manifold's ready to come off of there, basically. This side of pulling this out of the booster is easier. That is quite interesting. I spy a loose bolt, and I spy an oil pressure sender, which looks like someone did it without the manifold off. It's not tight. So how do you like that? That's why the oil sender is leaking, because someone tried to do it without taking the manifold off. And I mean, you can do it. I have done it without taking the manifold off, but it's not worth it. The manifold is not terribly hard to get to, and these valley pans leak a lot too. So we're gonna do both. I gotta stuff some, I put a paper towel in each port to catch the majority of the debris, and then I can blow everything off and clean everything up real good, pull the paper towels out and go back together. Why that bolt's loose, I don't know. Maybe someone thought that was the sender or something. Kind of strange. Washer we go. This gasket, or I think they replaced the whole plate when you do the gasket, but it's out of town, so it's gonna be like an hour or two before it gets here. So we'll move on to something else. Alright, might as well go ahead and put this in while I'm waiting for the gasket to get here. I was thinking this was a cam sensor like the old ones, but of course this is a new style with the variable displacement. Click, I mean beep. This has a really cool setup. The gasket goes under the solenoids, and the solenoids are riveted. So they get you an outer gasket, and you cut the legs off and just replace the outer perimeter gasket. Don't really care for it, but at least we're going to stop the oil leaks. It won't fix these. If these leak oil, it just leaks into the motor, and the variable displacement system won't work probably 100%. It might set a code. But we're just trying to stop an oil leak, so we're going to go ahead and do the perimeter gasket, put it all back together. I had a Nissan Xterra I couldn't film. The customer came in wanting me to look at a noise for him. And next thing you know, he wants me to check for codes in his transmission and let me know if his transmission is going to be okay. And all kinds of, he wanted printouts, and my scanner doesn't make printouts, so that was a little bit interesting. He had a bad cat. He has a cat code, PO430, so she's giving him an estimate on that. But he came in asking about a noise. Very odd. Very, very odd. I don't think some people have bolted together right. Seemed like a nice enough. Seemed like a nice enough guy. Just. Now, this is a perimeter only gasket. So, use my flush cutters to cut the old gasket. It doesn't have to be cut where I'm cutting it. That's just what I choose. This gasket doesn't even line up with all the little tabs. Ta-da! That is a gravity check. Luckily I don't need it though, so I don't care. I'm gonna wipe this down a little bit, and I'll put this on the block side instead of trying to hold it all together. I already put the sender and the screen in there. Alright. Got that in. Gotta pull my liquid connector out from under that, don't I? We don't want to do that. Oh yeah, that is good stuff. Oh, the lock's gone off that connector. Dang it! Gotta go let them know. See what they want to do. How to make a 3-hour job take 8 hours. Get all these bolts in here, torque this thing down. I gotta look up the spec too. Valley cover bolts are 18 foot-pounds. The intake gets up 2 passes, 44 inch-pounds and 89 inch-pounds on the second pass. So, off we go. Connector, we couldn't find one for the oil sender, so we're gonna do the old silicone it so it doesn't slide off. I already cleaned everything with brake clean, make sure there's no oil remnants. It was on there before, it hadn't come off, but just a tiniest little bit of silicone to hold it on so it'll still come off if you want to take it off on purpose. I know, it's kind of hack. Trying to get this truck out of here today. We ordered that connector, it's gonna take like 4 days, so they don't want to wait that long, and I don't blame them. Just a tiny little bit. I think I'll put it right here. Doesn't take much. Boom. Alright. At least it won't fall off. I don't like doing it, like I said, but you know, you gotta find a way to make it work, get it out of here. As long as you don't have a problem with it, then you end up regretting it. But I think we're going to be fine. Make sure my gaskets are caught. Everything's good. This is going to go in front of this. This one's going to go in the middle. Pull all my paper towels out before I get too carried away. Let's not jump the gun. Trowel fit worked out here. Bolts are a pain in the ass because they try to catch and everything on the way. So definitely gotta give it a nice lift. Hey, it's not so bad. My injector wires are caught. Gotta grab a flashlight. Back here. Now we're getting somewhere. I took it out with 3/8. I'm going to put it back together with 1/4 inch. But the other direction. Torque sequence is more critical with the torque wrench than it is when you're just snugging it down. Big old hood line, I still can't see it. Phone's ringing. The phone is ringing. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Finally, all my injectors are plugged in. Fuel lines in, PCV. That goes to the plenum down here. Purge is hooked up, brake booster hose, fuel line security clamp. I gotta bolt down my my harness holder dealy. This also holds the engine decoration cover up. They say those engine covers not only are decoration, though, they actually keep the engine temperatures more consistent. I don't know how true it is, but I know they don't like to do things they don't have to do for any reason. So I'm assuming there's some reason it benefits something. Temperature stability, probably up north more so than down here, but anyway. 10 millimeters for the wiring harness brackets. Alternator, snorkel, done. 8 millimeter for the snorkel, 15 for the alternator. I tap those out with a small ball peen. You gotta be careful. I mean, if you really hammer the hell out of it, you can break these ears off. But if you're not an animal and you're pretty careful, they'll move right before the bracket. I didn't film it because people have given me a hard time about it. But I still do it. You know what? As a treat, I'll film it the next time. Always get them both started before you tighten the rubber. Goodness. There you go. Okay, get back here. A lot of people crank those down. You don't need to do that. Just snug it up a little bit, that's all. That is all. Not going anywhere. Gonna need at least 2 quarts of oil. That's bad. Gonna need 2 more quarts. We're doing an oil change. High mileage, 530, 4 quarts. Perfect. That's a tiny bit over actually now. That's fine. Time to fire this thing up and see what happens. And the gauge even says it has oil pressure and everything. I'm gonna let it run a few minutes, shut it off, recheck the oil level, pull it outside and hose it down a little bit, try to get some of the loose stuff off of there. Oh, I gotta put the tires on before I can do that. I'm going to pull that transmission out, see if the flywheel's broken like I suspect. We'll see what happens. I thought I was recording and then I looked at the camera and it said repairing your file. So it had a glitch in the matrix. Anyway, this weather break, we're taking a look at the old open rafters over there, taking on the rain. We got a pretty good storm of brewing. That means the accidents are going to pick up the pace and the traffic's going to get a little worse. People don't know how to drive here in the rain, even though it rains every day in the summer. Oh, I heard thunder and lightning down there. It's gonna get crazy. Let's try to see what we can get done in this escape and stop horsing around, will you? You're not a weatherman, you're a damn mechanic. Of course, I could tell you it's a 50% chance of raining tomorrow too. I could be a weatherman. Now it's raining a little harder. That's what we're talking about. I'll show you guys something here. I always disconnect the negative from here because you can't get to the negative all the way in the back. It's in the driver's lap under the steering column or something back there. Look at this positive battery terminal. What do you think about that? That's seen better days. Someone bent the terminal so it would stay kind of tight. And the battery itself ain't too good neither. This is gonna snowball like a lot of cars have been doing lately. Come on, GoPro, stay with me, man. Stay with me. I don't know why I keep using it, but it's super handy. You push the button and it turns on 3 out of 5 times. It's handy. Pull this thing off here. I know that, come on. I know that there's no possible better way to do this. You gotta be careful, these sensors actually break too, and they'll set battery codes and cool stuff like that. I know it fits off of there. There it goes. Oh, what's this screw? It's interesting. Oh, you know what? I bet you somebody was using that for that crappy positive cable end. That's terrible. Oh yeah, look. That is terrible. All right, man. We are buttoning it up. Monday is in the books. See you guys tomorrow, man. Make sure you torque that like button at the bottom of the screen for me. I really appreciate it. It's going to be on that side. Maybe subscribe if you want to see some more automotive repair, tool reviews, and videos where I combine the two. Plus, I got a project truck now, so that's going to add to the content too. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video, I hope. You're awesome.